You know, the one thing that has been disturbing me for a long time is the frustration I feel when I look for protective hairstyles. I have a very different definition of what protective hairstyles mean, which I don't, I just started calling them that because they were just hairstyles to me. But anyways, I hairstyles that involve pulling on the hair, to me, is not hairstyles you should be doing longer than 8 hours. So it's very difficult for me to find a protective hairstyle that supports low tension and supports length retention. When I was in college, I went natural 25 years ago. So when I was in college, I all I did, and I grew my hair to bra strap length, and depending on where I was in my younger years, it was past bra strap, right? Those like my teen college years, that kind of thing, your 20s. All I did was wash my hair once a week, moisturize it. I used to use that Stay Soft Fro stuff that had the lanolin in it. And I would detangle my hair and I would part and I would just two-strand twist. And I would leave it at that. And a lot of people had comments on how they believe my hair should have been styled, because when they saw my hair, they was like, it's not fixed. You need to fix your hair. It was a lot going on that was that you could define as psychologically damaging in the early 2000s, rocking two-strand twists just with your natural type 4B, 4C hair, right? But that's the only way I grew my hair long. As I got older, after the pandemic, I believe my hair started to thin out, and there's other reasons as to why I don't have bra strap length hair outside of technique, right? But now that I have gotten over the obstacle and I feel fine again, I'm like, well, I want to grow my hair back to my regular length that I usually had in my late teens, early 20s, 30s. You know, it's been 5 years. I want to grow my hair back. But I want to have a new hairstyle. I don't want to do the same shrunken two-strand twist that I did when I was in college. I don't want to do the same old twist out that I did when I was in my 20s. I want to do a different look. And I'm looking at these protective hairstyles. I don't see anything protective about it. All I see is a bunch of ponytails with rubber bands, secured with rubber bands at the root. And then it come down and it's so tight. And not only that, combing the hair with the jam or the gel to get it sleek and then tightening it with the rubber band. And I'm like, you don't realize you pulling out your hair? I can scroll on any social media platform looking for hairstyles. I can say, you know what, I want to see what I can do with Marley hair. I want to see what I can do with whatever extensions. And all I see, the technique is pulling on the hair. Just pulling. Pulling it on, putting the rubber band on, pulling it, putting it into the braid. Got a little strand of hair here, but got a big old chunk of extensions that's going to hang off the hair. And I'm trying to figure out what is not clicking that these hairstyles take out hair. These hairstyles will take your ends straight off. There is no way you can retain length doing that. Now, I always been criticized for my natural hairstyles because the way I wore them, they was like, that's too country, and you look like you should be out in the field somewhere. And I used to get all kinds of nasty statements. Oh, your hair make me itch. But guess what? My hair was longer than all of theirs. I didn't do nothing to it other than wash it and twist it, you know. But as I get older and I want a different look, there is nothing out here for protective hairstyles. I am quite saddened by the way black hair is just being taken care of. It's almost like everyone is operating under the guidance of make it neat by any means necessary. And neat is relative. What's neat to you could not be neat to somebody else. And although you may do your parts and put some moisturizer on it and brush it and go ahead and plait your hair, somebody can look at that and say, that's not neat. The only way it's going to be neat is if I go and grab some edge control and I slap it all around the parts and I really get in there with the rat tail comb and I comb it and smooth it out and then I secure it with a rubber band 5-6 times and then pull on it to twist it and braid it down. And to them, that's neat. And does it look cute in the picture? Yes, it does. But what are your follicles doing? They probably dying off. They probably are so inflamed from the tension that's being applied to the scalp. And that's all I see when it comes to protective hairstyles. So just to give you a background story on what the kind of experience I had, we grew up in a very different way. When it came to what I identified and what my family identified as protective hairstyles, which we didn't call it that, this is a new age term, was plaiting the hair, 2-strand twisting the hair, and that was it. And maybe you had 1, maybe 2 barrettes in your head to adorn your hair, and that was it. There was no balls or ponytails at the top. There was no barrettes that wrapped around the bottom of the ponytail. There was none of that. Nobody greased any scalp. Nobody used any blue magic. Nobody did any of that. Also, we weren't allowed to put gel in our hair. We wasn't allowed to wear individual braids. Going to these braiding shops that I see, it was a big no-no. As soon as you saw, you just walked on by. You didn't think about going in there to get your hair done because the notion was that they braid too tight. And that's when I was a little girl. I'm not a little girl anymore. I may look young, but I'm not a little girl anymore. And I remember the reputation of them braiding shops was that they braid your hair so tight they pull it out. Don't ever walk in there to get your hair braided. The other thing was, like I said, I mentioned the ponytails, that kind of thing. What my mom did for me was, and I don't agree with the way she tackled my hair, I had a relaxer, which you should not give a child a relaxer. But my hair was washed, blow dried, and straightened once a week or every other week. And if it was every 2 weeks, in which because I went to a hairstylist. My mom did not do my hair. I went to a hairstylist between the ages of 5 and 18. So some people might say, you really can't talk on natural hair when you were young because somebody else took care, a hairstylist, a professional took care of your hair. But in the end, whether or not I had a salon visit once a week, every 2 weeks, I still had hair with a relaxer. And I never greased the scalp. We never put hair into ponytails, except it was one ponytail I used to wear by the end of the first week. So I would wear my wrap for week 1, and then after week 2, I was like, well, I don't want to wear my hair down. I don't want to curl it anymore. So I used to just put leave-in conditioner or some kind of conditioner in the bathroom, truth be told. I used to put it in there to moisturize my hair, spray water, and I would put it back in one ponytail, and I used to go to school. There was not a bunch of ponytails. And you wasn't allowed to even wear that ponytail when you got home after school. Another thing is that my family, the women in my family, was highly against a bunch of ponytails in the hair when it came to children. They would get really upset about it when they saw children that wasn't theirs outside the home. Like we just in the store, restaurant, and you see like a little girl, she got 10 different 20 plus ponytails in her hair or secured with rubber bands. They would make comments like, that child got too many ponytails. That is so tight. Why is all that in her hair? And we wasn't allowed to wear our hair like that. If you wanted to take it amongst yourself as a parent and my family and say, my daughter gonna wear 20 different ponytails secured with all these rubber bands, I'm going to tell you right now, you show up to a family event with that, somebody going to say something. And it ain't just going to be one person that's going to say something. Everybody going to want to know, why are you pulling out that little girl's hair? And they going to want you to explain yourself. And they're going to keep coming down on you until you take it out. Because in our mind, that little girl has no choice in how her hair is styled. Why would you want to put all these tight hairstyles in her hair that she has no control and she doesn't know how to take it down? You're making her suffer in pain on purpose, number one. And number two, you're doing nothing but pulling out her hair. You can find another hairstyle for her that's a lot more gentle on her scalp than sitting up there pulling out her hair. And we used to, it used to be some women that was just like, well, I like her hair like this and I like it to look neat. As soon as they walked away, I used to have people in my family that would take them ponytails down. They would take it, and it'd be the elders. They take it right on down. Like, she don't need all of that. You just yanking on her hair. She ain't going to have no hair. You keep pulling on it like that. But I tell you like this, no matter how confrontational it may seem, all of us had hair. Nobody, whether you were relaxed or not relaxed, everybody had hair. There was no such thing as my hair just don't grow. I just can't get it to grow. Because the bottom line was that low tension, no tension hairstyles and washing your hair is the key to having hair. Whether you slap a perm in it or not. So now that because I've been raised like that over the years, where low tension, truthfully, no tension hairstyles is the key to growing hair, it's very difficult for me to look at these hairstyles that's out here today and find one that I could say is a decent hairstyle for me to wear to grow my hair back to the length that I was comfortable with before pre-pandemic. So moving forward, my goal is to find one, maybe two types of true protective styles. I've already found one that I believe, which is the crochet. And the next one, I believe I'm just going to have to add a twist or modernize my two-strand twist that I used to do in college, in which I will twist my hair, but then I will add Marley hair to it. And instead of doing a bunch of two-strand twists throughout my entire head, because I wash my hair more often now, instead of once a week, it's twice a week, and I apply water twice a day, my plan now is to do probably a maximum of 8, maybe 10 chunky twist in my hair and figure out how to style it, adorn it with maybe like the large beads and that kind of thing. But I'll see how it work out, you know. But the last thing I'm gonna do is sit here and pull on my hair, especially when I never had to pull on my hair in the first place to have it to retain length. I'm not gonna start that mess. For the crochet hair styles, and I told my daughter this, when it comes to braiding your hair, you never allow anyone to braid your hair. You always braid your own hair. Any tension hairstyles that you believe has some kind of tension, whether it's low or high tension, I prefer no, but no tension at all. But anyways, for things like that, for braids, anything that's going to be styled close to the scalp, you want to do it yourself. Because they don't have their head, put it this way, your head is not sitting on their shoulders. They cannot feel the pain that you feel as they braid. So although it may be tight to you, they don't realize that it's tight to them. And then you got a lot of disrespectful people who just believe, oh, you should just deal with it. Beauty is pain, and you can tolerate a little bit of pain. But what they're doing, every time you feel pain when you're braiding or you're doing tension hairstyles, you are inflaming the hair follicle, and you will therefore pull the hair out. Whether you see the hair strands come out or not, then you will weaken the hair strand pulling on it like that. So I highly recommend you learn how to braid your own hair, and you learn how to crochet your own hair. You can always go to a hairstylist to get your hair washed, conditioned, treated, and blow dried out. Go home, braid your hair, and put it in the style that you want it to be in for the week or 2 weeks or whatever. And always find a style where you can wash it 1 to 3 times a week and it still look good. Because if you do a hairstyle where you can't wash it, there's no point in having a hairstyle, because your scalp is going to be dirty, and then you're not going to promote healthy growth of hair. So you might as well just not waste your money, you know. But that is my biggest, that's the recommendation I gave my daughter, and that's what the advice that I'm following for myself. You know, when I braid my hair, and a lot of people don't do this and they won't agree with it because they feel like that ain't tight enough. I don't care. I have my braids or cornrows have to have 2 requirements when I crochet my hair or when I braid my daughter's hair for crochet. Number 1, I have to be able to wiggle the braid. And that's right after I braid it. If I can't wiggle it left to right and it doesn't move around, it's too tight. The second thing is that I have to be able to either stick my pinky underneath the braid, or I have to be able to stick something underneath the braid and it come on through. So if I stick it under the braid, you see what I'm saying? And that's just on the day 1 of braiding. That's not after new growth has come in. That's on day 1 of braiding. If it doesn't meet them 2 requirements, the braid is too doggone tight. That's my requirement, because it has to be low tension for me to retain length. I'm not trying to pull out hair to maintain a hairstyle. And I showed my daughter, I did the same thing for my daughter. And I said, is your hair tight? She was like, no. And she still had a beautiful hairstyle. Nobody knows her hair is crocheted, because I got a color match and I got a texture match, and her hair is loosely braided under there. She's only going to keep it for what, like 2 weeks? Maximum 3. She's going to wash her hair twice a week. And she's going to take it down. We're going to gently detangle with a detangler, right? A conditioner. And wetting the hair, gently detangle. And then she'll go to a hair salon, get her hair washed, conditioned, treated, and blow dried out. And after 2-3 weeks, we'll braid it right back up, very loose, and we'll install more crochet hair if that's what she wants to do. Her hair is always low to no tension hairstyles, because it's having a teenager in this time and age where you got so many Black women who are pushing dirt make your hair grow. All you got to do is slap grease and you ain't got to wash it for months. If you pull on the hair, it stimulates the hair follicles and it make it grow. This kind of stuff that's out here on social media, it influences little girls. And so little girls are like, well, that's what, they're not going to listen to mom and dad. They're going to listen to their peers. And if their peers on social media, they go regurgitating what grown, ignorant Black women are saying online. And let's just be truthful about it. It's an underlying reason why they keep telling little girls to keep their hair dirty and to not wash it and to pull on it. Something is going on with them, but they're putting that kind of negative energy out into the world, and these children are eating it up because they just want to know how to do their hair and they want to be a girly girl. And they're getting all this bad advice. And she had to go through, oh my goodness, I had some makeup on my hands. She had to go through her trials and tribulations with tight hairstyles and dealing with scalp issues, because I got a teenager, right? So I do you live and learn. You FAFO. That's how I raise. That's how I teach sometimes. So once she got a chance to experience, this is not a good idea, then she came on back and was like, can you help me? I have no problem helping anybody. So I gave her a low tension hairstyle. She's walking around, running around, ecstatic. I can't believe my hair doesn't hurt. My scalp doesn't hurt. It doesn't itch. I'm so excited. And this is that. And everybody loves my new hairstyle. Because you're supposed to encourage healthy growth. And what I see out here is counterproductive. It doesn't hold any common sense. It's all built in. You got to get your hair. I'm not going to use the word neat. What they don't like is that if the style is too loose, people might be able to tell the real texture of their hair. And what they identify as a real texture of their hair is considered nappy. And they don't like nappy hair, so they're going to pull on it like crazy to hide the kinks and the coils, and they're putting that information out into the world to say, yes, this is how your hair is supposed to look, because it's supposed to look neat. No, all you're doing is having me pull out my hair, and then you're leading me down a road of a bunch of hair and scalp issues that I got to now spend money on, and I'm dealing with all kind of mental health issues because my hair is falling out. I didn't yanked it out, and I got all kind of inflammation and a scalp infection. You're not helping me at all. And quite frankly, I wish a lot of people would get off the internet. You don't have to put everything on the internet. Not that. It's too toxic, and it can't be filtered out. So I'm still out here on the hunt for protective hairstyles. I got one, like I said, the crochet. Make sure you braid your hair yourself. And I'm going to start toying around with the Marley hair and seeing if I can do the 2-strand twist with the Marley hair and see how that hold up with me washing it twice a week and moisturizing it twice a day. So stay tuned.